Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Align and Thrive. Today, we're looking at 7 clear signs you are operating out of a lack of trust within yourself and how that affects your alignment, how that affects your life, the way you're living it. Let's dive right in. Number one is you second guess your decisions. So even after making a choice, you might replay in your mind over and over again, like, was that the right decision? Maybe I should have done that instead. And you're constantly second guessing yourself and thinking, oh my gosh, maybe there was a better decision I could have taken, or oh no, I messed up again and I did that decision I wasn't supposed to. That's the first sign that you are operating from a space of distrust. Number two, you seek advice before checking in with yourself first. You often ask other people, like, what do they think? It can be as simple as, like, what do you think about this shirt that I want to buy? Or what do you think about, what we should have for lunch? Or I don't know. It can be anything, right? Just constantly asking other people their input and their advice and their opinion before even tuning into what your own perspective is, to how you feel about it, to um, listening to what your own soul is telling you about the decision that you're going to make, right? You seek all this outside advice first, outsourcing that power instead of trusting your own inner knowing. And number three, you're afraid of making the wrong move. So that kind of goes with number one, second guessing yourself constantly. Is you might make a decision, um, or you might be stuck in analysis paralysis because you're so scared of committing to something and failing or having it not work out in the best way that you thought would happen, and you're just having all this fear inside of, oh my gosh, did I make the right choice? Like, I could have done better or whatever it is, and having the inner dialogue that goes along with that can be very draining of your energy and just kind of cruel to yourself about what your decision was. Number four is you ignore your intuition, right? Your intuition might be communicating to you, giving you indicators of what you should be doing or what you should be staying away from. And you have this inkling, this knowing, and but you override it. You think, oh, or you rationalize it and you bring it up to your monkey mind that's like, no, I'm just gonna do it anyway because X, Y, and Z. Right? We over rationalize it, we overthink it, and um instead of honoring that inner wisdom, that intuition, and having trust in its knowing, you kind of just think, oh well, there's no way to justify that. There's no way to prove that that's the right choice. So I'm just going to go with this because this is what so and so has done, or what looks, what makes sense to the mind, right? Um, and even though it might feel off to you, again, your intuition indicating you just move forward in a more rational way. Number five, you say yes when you really mean no. You agree to things out of guilt, pressure, or obligation, or even habit, right? Something that you've always done over and over again, even when you know it might not be right for you, right? Even though it might be something that you're wanting to say no to, you just again outsource your power, just become this cog in a machine almost, and just go by old patterns. Number six, you over explain your boundaries, and instead of just stating what you need, instead of saying like, this is what I choose to do and this is how I spend my time, or the people I surround myself with, instead of just choosing it, living with those boundaries in mind, you feel the need to constantly explain them and tell maybe you tell your friend, oh, I can't, no, I can't attend your event. But then you tell them, oh, it's because I have a lot of work and I'm so sorry I can't go. And, I'll go there next time. And all this over explaining and justifying your reason of what your yeses and your nos are a sign that you feel the need to defend yourself and your choices, which stems from a lack of self trust. Number seven, you regret not speaking up when you've had the opportunity, right? So, um, you know, there's something in the moment where you felt like, "Oh gosh, I need to speak up about this. I need to say something. I need to voice my piece on this," or maybe something's happened with someone and it made you feel a certain way, and you wanted to express how you felt, but you just kind of said, "No, no, no, be quiet and just let it go," right? Um, and then afterwards, you might regret it. You might think, "Oh my gosh, I should have said this. And you know what? I could have said that. And I wish I would have done this," right? Another sign that you're operating from a lack of self-trust in you. Let's see. Again, these signs are not failures. They're invitations and helps you gain the awareness of what you might want to shift in your life. Right? Because again, awareness is the first step. So let's go into why trusting yourself matters, right? When you don't trust yourself, people can sense it, and you give all that your power away, your energy away. Not only do people sense it, but then you attract people who are going to feed off of that and think, "Oh, lots of free energy." And so you might attract energy vampires or certain, relationship dynamics that are not what you want, or they and you're wondering like, why do I get these kind of people around me, or why do the same kinds of things happen in my life with these specific types of people? And it could be because of the way that you're operating, right? What you are putting out is what you're getting, and people can sense that. um Another thing about why it matters to live with the self-trust is you might end up living a life that it was never yours to live. You might look back on your life and realize, "Oh my gosh, I spent all years and years and years following this path that wasn't even my own choosing," right? And you hear those stories all the time of people, again, not operating out of this trust in themselves that where they acknowledge, "Oh my God, this is the right choice for me. I'm going to choose that path," and instead go along with the path that was more familiar, that, maybe their parents wanted them to choose, or their family and their friends. And then looking back and realizing all of it, this whole journey was just um not fruitful for them, doesn't feel fulfilling to them, and they just it causes this deep sense of regret and almost sadness, right, that they didn't have the courage in the moment to live the life that they wanted to live, right? But when you do trust yourself, you can make the changes, you can make decisions, your path becomes clearer, you know where you're headed, and you don't need this like constant validation and approval and permission from everyone and everything around you to make the choices that you know in your heart you want to make. And operating from a place of no self-trust or low self-trust will keep you in, you know certain dynamics and situations that are unwanted for longer periods of time, if you're willing to continue to not trust yourself and outsource your power and choose the same old things over and over again. Um, so, listening to that inner wisdom and believing and knowing that that is enough to guide you, right? Knowing that you're enough. And um, this is, that act of alignment that I've talked about in previous episodes, is when you can connect to that inner source, that your soul that's guiding you, that's wanting to tell you, that's calling you, telling you guiding you where to go and what's the next step. And really, that's connecting not only with your soul, but source, with God, with creation, with the universe, and learning to trust that and have faith in that fully, even when you might not see the road ahead and the bigger picture all the time. And just have that faith that you're on the right path because it's what your heart and your soul is calling you to do. So then, how do you build self trust? If we've gone through the signs and you notice, yes, each one of those resonates. I'm operating from a lack of self trust. What can you do to start to build self trust? And I have 5 practical things that you can start with. Number one, pause before asking for input. and ask yourself, what do I think? What do you think first, right? And in my own life, I've seen in the past where I was just constantly asking everyone, what do you think about this? Or should I do this? And I'm realizing now that I don't operate that way, it's just so interesting how, yes, that reflected a lack of trust in myself to make the right decisions for me. And instead of owning my power, I was constantly letting other people tell me what I should do. And so it can be as simple as just a pause, right? If it's someone asking you, like, what do you like for dinner tonight? It can be as simple as that. Instead of saying, oh, whatever you want, or let's see what they want, pausing and just really tuning in and thinking, you know what? I really feel like having sushi tonight or pizza or whatever it is, because in those little ordinary moments you are stepping into that version of you that has the self-trust that honors their her power, that makes her own decisions, right? And the more you can do that in each and every little moment, that builds confidence, that builds trust in yourself. So yes, that's a great place to start. Number two, pay attention to your body and notice when you have this feeling of ease or feeling constrained or feeling discomfort, and accept those as clues about what your body and what your soul is telling you is right for you, because a lot of the time we become disconnected from our inner knowing, from our intuition, from our soul guidance, and the wisdom that is being translated through our body to us, right, in this physical world. And the more we can tune into those little shifts in our being and in our body, the more we have the clues and the guidance as to what's right for us. Because, you can do something as simple as tune into um, your body when you tell yourself, I love the color green. Like for me, that is true. It feels good in my body. It feels open. My energy feels flowing. I don't, I have a relaxed state. Yeah, that feels right, right? But if I tell myself something that's clearly not true, like I love wasabi with my sushi. I think wasabi's gross, and like immediately in my body, I could feel like kind of like tightness in my chest, a little bit, tension in my stomach, and a little bit of caving in. And I mean, I know I was telling a lie just now, but my body instinctually knows, yeah, girl, no, you don't like that. So just paying attention to those little shifts gives us clues about what our inner knowing is, because your nervous system knows, your body knows. And I mean, there are other things that it responds to out of old beliefs or old situations, but that's another topic. But just honoring what it's telling you and what it needs. And that is another great point to start when building self. Number three, honor small commitments that you make to yourself. And this, not only builds self trust, but self respect, reliance, right? And you become your own best friend. And this was something that I struggled with for a long time. And many of my clients I noticed struggle with, because, especially as moms, as um, people in the workforce, just being busy and, doing all the things. And, you put yourself last sometimes, and then you wonder why you're so stressed and exhausted and burnt out and resentful. And so honor the time that you and the commitments that you make to yourself, whether that's, I'm going to go work out, or I'm going to book a hair appointment or my facial, or even just book my dentist appointment, right? So a commitment that you make to yourself, and not just let anybody or anything come up with these appointments and events that invite you to, and then you think, okay, I have to like cancel all my stuff and go to their thing or do this thing and put out these fires, or just feel like you have to attend something else or attend to someone else. in exchange for attending to you because you come first. And if in your heart and your soul that it's meant for you to take care of you first in that situation, then do it. um because it's not always, you're always going to put yourself before everything else, which I mean you should do. But for example, if there is an instance where someone lets you know ahead of time and you feel like, oh yeah, I really want to go to that, and it calls to you, and then yeah, make that change, right? But don't make it a habit to constantly override your appointments, your commitments, um, your plans in exchange for someone else's. Let's see. Number four, reflect often. Journalings, regular check-ins, and just connecting with yourself on a day-to-day basis, like throughout the day, on a weekly basis, whatever that might look like to you, and checking in with yourself on, what went well today, what didn't. I love doing this. It's, just checking into, I always check in with myself and my husband at the end of the day and think, what went well today, what did not, like, what could I improve for next time? Where do I see, tomorrow going, or the next week, or the month, or the year? All this stuff, like constant, I just love constant reflection. Um, but yeah, tuning into what yourself is saying and what its desires are, and what it's feeling, and that awareness and that attention on yourself is going to breed that trust in yourself, that you have yourself, your own back. You care about how yourself is feeling. You care about what it's telling you, what it thinks, and helping it guide it to be the best version of yourself and bring whatever is coming through into um or is wanting to come through into your life, because sometimes there might be things that are coming through that we're not paying attention to because we've never really just slowed down and reflected and sat with, well, what ideas are coming through in my mind, how do I feel about that situation, how do I feel about this person, or do I still want to continue working at this job, like all these different questions and these reflections that you can have as check-ins with yourself throughout, again, your day, your week, the months, the years, and build that rapport and that trust with yourself and that relationship with yourself, and knowing that you are not going to just neglect that and and then and then see yourself 10 years later and look back in your life and say, whoa, what happened, like who was I, like why did I do that? And instead, look back on the past 10 years of your life and realize, wow, I really was committed to myself, I was aware, I made conscious decisions, I love the life that I built. And all of that stems from having that self trust, right? Having that awareness and that faith and that trust in yourself, that you're not only going to listen, but then take the actions and steps to do whatever your heart desires. Let's see. Number five, celebrate your alignment. And it kind of ties in with what I was just saying, right? Like, looking back and reflecting and seeing like how far you've come, and um, all those commitments you kept to yourself and things that you've accomplished, and just acknowledge um, and celebrate yourself for doing that, for trusting yourself to make those decisions, and seeing, maybe in big or small, certain things come to life, and honoring, the trust that you've built with yourself, and what that feels like in your, not only in your body, but also what you've been able to create and give a value from that place, right? That's a fun one. So again, self-trust, I guess, doesn't always mean you have all the answers. It just means, because our path can feel cloudy sometimes. It can feel uncertain, it can feel scary, it can feel new, and if we don't have trust in ourselves, then that's going to make the journey a lot harder, right? But not only do we have trust in God and our higher power and our higher selves and the universe, but we also have the faith and trust in ourselves that we will get through this. we can figure it out. We can ease into creating this life that we know is going to um, be fruitful, even though we don't know how exactly. And just knowing that we are conscious and aware and intentional enough to tune into ourselves, honor our own innate wisdom, and um, just be filled even just by that knowing that we are never going to abandon ourselves. We have this trust, this confidence in ourselves that we are going to live in the most best possible way we know how, no matter what. And not neglect ourselves and leave ourselves um because when you think of, like, if you tune in and you feel the energy of yourself, and if you kind of step back and see yourself as just the awareness, and imagine the energy and of who you are and what that looks like. What is the energy? What kind of picture does it bring up in your mind? Is it a picture of vigor, of strength, of exuberance, of vitality, or is it maybe this low energy, weak and sad and chained and bounded? So it's your energy and yourself is always communicating to you how it's feeling, what it needs, what it's looking for. And for some of us, this might be a wake-up call that we have been neglecting ourselves, that we have been putting ourselves last, that we have not been taking care of our health, of our physicality, or even our mental health or our spiritual health. And um, maybe one of those or all of the above. And hopefully this can serve as your reminder that now is a great time to start, right? With with the awareness and the intention and wanting to change this, and realizing that you deserve better. You deserve the attention, the care, and the love that you give so freely to others, to yourself as well. And um, take that feeling and that knowing into the step of the direction of, I'm going to build trust in myself. And for some of us that might be further along on that path, using this as a reminder to just continue that path and continue to deepen that trust, and continue to use it to see where else it's going to take us in our life. And yeah, I feel like this was such an important topic, and it's, especially during times of trial or troubles, or just not knowing what's coming next. It's just having that faith and that trust in yourself that um, I'm going to see myself through this, right? God will see me through this, and there's nothing that I can't do or achieve if um, I have my own, if I have that trust and that faith in myself and in all that is. So I hope this video helps serve as that reminder for you to trust in yourself, to continue to deepen that relationship with yourself, and honor your inner knowing and your intuition and your wisdom, and trust that it's guiding you on this path of your on this highest path for you and everyone else around you. So, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week, but have a wonderful weekend.